Running stitch for gathering. At the end of this class you'll be able to make gathers using the running stitch, which is an important application of the running stitch. Taking the running stitch one step forward, you can also use it for making gathered sleeves or a gathered skirt. Many articles of clothing that you sew call for ruffles or gathers. There might be ruffles on the sleeves, most commonly on a long tiered skirt. In order to stitch fabric so that it creates ruffles, it's necessary to gather the edge to create ruffles and have it ease evenly and smoothly into any area of the garment that calls for ruffles. Let's see how running stitch is used to make gathers. Step 1. Take a thread that is at least 10 inches longer than the length you need to gather down to. For example, if you need to gather this piece of fabric which is 10 inches down to 5 inches, then you will need at least 15 inches of thread. Now thread the needle and tie a knot on the end of the thread. Step 2. Sew 3 to 4 millimeters or 1/4 of an inch the standard running stitches along the complete length of the edge of the fabric to be gathered. Step 3. Now, hold the end of the fabric near the very last stitch and pull gently on the thread to slide your material in small waves or folds towards the knotted end of your thread. This will create smooth gathers and avoid tangles. Step 4. Check with measuring tape if it has been gathered down to 5 inches. When all of your material has been gathered to the length you want, 5 inches in this case, tie off your thread securely by taking a small stitch and pulling the needle through the loop and tying a knot. Repeat this twice to secure the knot. There you have your gathers. Now, if you want to make gathers on a garment that is 1/2 meter or 20 inches or more, then pulling it from one end can be a laborious task. So it is advisable to pull at regular intervals of a few inches and making a knot there. The knotting will make sure that the gathers remain in place, and pulling at regular intervals will make the number of pleats uniform. For example, you pull at every 10th stitch to the same measurement, say 5 centimeters, and tie a knot. This procedure can be done to make gathered sleeves or a gathered skirt. To firmly secure the pleats, you may have one more line of running stitch parallel to the first one. This also ensures that the pleats don't move around when they attach to another garment later on. After the gathers are made, then they are sewn onto the machine. The seam will run between the 2 running stitches that you have made. Once this is done, you may remove the running stitch that shows outside. It is up to you whether you want to remove the one that is inside and does not show. But if any part of this invisible running stitch appears on the outside, then make sure you remove at least that part, if not the whole. With that, we come to the end of this class. Let's recall what we have learned here. Running stitch is used to make gathers. Let's review the basic steps. Step 1. Take a thread that is at least 10 inches longer than the thread you need to gather down to and tie a knot at its end. Step 2. Sew the standard running stitches along the complete length of the edge of fabric to be gathered. Step 3. Hold the end of the fabric near the very last stitch and pull gently on the thread to slide your material in small folds towards the knotted end of your thread. This will create smooth gathers. Step 4. When all your material has been gathered to the length you want, tie off your thread with a knot. For lengthier garments, instead of pulling it from one end, which can be a laborious task, pull at regular intervals of a few inches and make a knot there. Hopefully now you know how to make gathers using the running stitch. Take our next class to learn about the back stitch.